All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're unpacking a really powerful story. It feels like something you'd hear from your grandparents, but at the same time, it's so incredibly relevant to right now. It's all about friendship, money, and that one single moment, that one test that shows you who a person really is.
Just let that sink in for a second. It's so true, isn't it? I mean, it's easy to be a good person, a good friend, when everything's going great. But what about when things get tough, when there's pressure, a little fear, or maybe a lot of greed? That's the real test. And you know what? It's a test we all end up facing sooner or later.
Now, you might hear ancient fable and think, oh, this is just some old story for kids. But trust me, the exact same drama is playing out every single day in some very, very high-stakes situations.
I mean, really think about it. This story isn't just about two friends in a forest. It's about two co-founders fighting over equity. It's about you and your buddy with that side hustle, where one of you starts to feel like you're doing all the work. It's even there when families are tearing themselves apart over an inheritance. The forest? Well, today the forest is the boardroom. It's the back-channel chat. It's that quiet text message thread where people's real intentions come out. So with that in mind, let's head back to that original forest. Let's meet our two friends. Their journey together, well, it's about to change absolutely everything. So on one side, you've got Arav. He's a good guy. Sincere, totally trusting, the kind of person you just want in your corner, no questions asked. And then there's his friend Dev. Now, Dev is sharp, no doubt about it. He's intelligent. But he's got this restless idea in his head that being clever is way more important than being a person of good character. You can already see where this might be going, right? So here's how the test begins. Arav sells a small plot of land and says, hey, let's carry this money together for our journey. Dev agrees. But then, as he keeps looking at that pouch of coins hanging at his friend's waist, this little voice starts whispering in his head. A dangerous little thought. You know, I'm the smart one. I should get more of this. And isn't that how it so often starts? Not with some big evil plan, but with a quiet little whisper that helps you justify your own greed. And then, boom, the moment of truth. A thief jumps out from the shadows, knife in hand. But here's the twist. The real threat isn't the guy with the knife. It's the friend standing right next to you. Dev immediately turns to Arav and whispers this, a total betrayal wrapped up to look like a clever plan. And just like that, in a single heartbeat, the trust between them is just gone, shattered. This is where the story gets really wild. After Arav, being the trusting friend he is, hands over the money, the thief does something nobody saw coming. He doesn't just take the money and run. Nope, he turns this whole robbery into like a moral courtroom, and he asks this one piercing question. All of a sudden, this isn't about getting robbed anymore. It's about who you are. It's about what you're worth. And wow, their answers tell you everything. Dev immediately says, I do. I'm the clever one. It's all about his ego, his personal gain. He thinks being smart means he's entitled to it. But Arav, his answer comes from a totally different place. He says, neither of us. We earned this together. It was always meant to be shared. One answer is all about me, and the other is all about we. And get this, the thief, the so-called villain of the story, he delivers the final judgment. He looks right through Dev's cleverness and calls him out. He sees that Dev is truly the poor one here, not poor in money, but poor in character. And then he hands all the money to Arav, turns around, and just vanishes into the forest. He leaves the two of them standing there in the silence, forced to deal with what just happened. So the story is over, but it leaves us hanging with this one haunting question. A question that really forces us to look past the obvious villain. Just think about that for a second. Who was the real thief here? One guy wanted to steal your money. The other guy, he was ready to steal your trust. So which one does more damage? Which loss is harder to recover from? The answer to that says a whole lot about what you and I actually value in this life. Okay, so let's bring this into our world. How do we actually apply this? Well, this ancient fable is basically a perfect guide for understanding the real currency that matters in our lives, and we can break it down into 5 key ideas. Okay, so what did we learn? First, greed is usually quiet. Betrayal today probably looks more like a polite email than a knife in the back. Second, and this is a big one, trust is a currency, and once you lose it, it's almost impossible to earn back. Third, pressure doesn't build character, it just reveals what's already there. Fourth, being clever without any ethics, that's just a fancy way to sabotage yourself in the long run.
And finally, maybe the most important lesson of all. Real partnership, real friendship always, always puts the shared good first. And really, it all boils down to this right here. This is the heart of the whole thing. True wealth has absolutely nothing to do with your bank account. It's about whether your integrity stays intact when you're tempted to trade it for a quick win. If your principles just vanish the second a little pressure is applied, then you weren't actually wealthy. You were just faking it. So let's wrap this all up. What does this mean for us living our lives right here, right now? That forest from the story, it's all around us. It's in the business partnership where one person quietly works to cut the other out for a bigger piece of the pie. It's in those painful family fights over inheritance where relationships that lasted a lifetime are broken over stuff. And it's definitely in the office where someone might take credit for your work with a smile and a friendly handshake. This test of character, it's happening all the time.
And that brings us to one last thought to leave you with. The obvious threats in life are rarely the most dangerous ones. The real challenge is learning to spot the quiet betrayals, the hidden agendas, the friendly smiles that are just masking a deep poverty of character. Because in the end, what you choose to value, and more importantly, who you choose to trust, that's what will truly define how rich your life is.